UX questions. Your user experience questions answered in 3 minutes or less.
Scott from St. Louis, Missouri asks, what is Waterfall? I love that question. Thanks for asking, Scott. This is UX question number 42, and I'm Ben Judy. What is Waterfall? Well, don't think Niagara Falls. We're talking about a project management approach in which work is done in a linear sequence of phases. If you've ever seen a diagram of the double diamond model of UX design, discover, define, design, deliver, or any of its variants, that is a waterfall approach to design. Each phase of work acts as a gate or dependency for the phases further down the timeline. Back in episode 25, I described Agile UX, and back in episode 38, I talked about Lean UX. Waterfall is an older, more traditional UX project approach compared to Agile or Lean UX, and it is very different. Agile and Lean are iterative processes in which you repeat tight loops of similar kinds of work: research, design, testing, and so forth. Whereas in a strict waterfall approach, you do all the research, then you stop doing research and you create all the designs, then you stop designing and you test with users. With the rise of Agile, there's been a backlash against waterfall to the point where it's blasphemy to even say the word. But let's not be dogmatic. These are just approaches to our work, and every approach has its pros and cons, so let's look at those. A waterfall approach affords a dedicated time frame to conduct user research and design complete experiences. Compared to how Agile is often practiced, waterfall can be friendlier to UX people who need time to do their work holistically and focus on quality in the details. You can also estimate the scope of the UX work and measure progress more easily with waterfall, since the entire project roadmap can be planned out. Waterfall tends to work best when you have a static and knowable problem domain. In other words, you're confident you can understand user needs and define a set of requirements that won't change as you move forward and build the product. And this is the biggest con to waterfall. With complex software, new technologies, or a rapidly changing marketplace, you can't predict the future and design for a high-quality outcome 6 months or a year from now. Agile, in theory, allows you to sense and respond. But you don't need to choose between Agile and Waterfall. You can blend elements of both approaches. For example, you might establish an ongoing user research track of work, operating alongside your development team working in 2-week Agile sprints. With good collaboration and communication, you can avoid the trap of simplistic thinking about whether these methods are all good or all bad. Keep asking your questions about UX. Next time, I'll answer the question, how should I name my design files? Hey, it's Ben Judy. Thanks for listening to another episode of UX Questions. If you like what you just heard, would you let others know about it? If you're watching on YouTube, click the share, like, and subscribe buttons. If you're listening to the audio podcast, share it with your friends and give us a 5-star rating and write a short review. Those shares, likes, subscribes, and reviews really make a difference. The bigger our audience grows, the more support comes in, the more questions I can answer, the more I can improve the quality of the show, and ultimately, the more we all learn and grow together. Why don't you take a few seconds right now? Share, like, subscribe, rate, and review. Share our social media posts too. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Comment back on this episode and tag your friends and UX colleagues. If I've learned one thing about user experience over the course of my career, it's that there's always something new to learn, some new question to be answered. So keep those questions coming in and keep sharing UX questions. Your UX questions answered in 3 minutes or less.